Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wa salatu salam rasulullah. We're back again with the A to Z of emotional transformation. We're up to the letter K, which is killjoy to kind-hearted, and I'm here with Daniela. Assalamu alaikum, Daniela.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, good to have you here. Alhamdulillah. So this whole killjoy word was a bit of not the right word that you, yes. What is that?
Yeah, I guess I had a lot of thinking around it. And really, if I go back to my parenting beforehand, where I used to have a lot of thinking going on through another platform that I've studied in, I really became what I felt rigid, and it had to be a certain way, and it was really just a lot of thinking. And what I found is that when I came to this understanding with back to the Fitrah and the inside out paradigm, is that I actually didn't have to do anything, but that thinking that I had around, I guess certain outcomes and certain situations and expectations that I had on myself and I had on others all fell away. And so what naturally emerged was, the kind-heartedness in every sort of circumstance. And if I'm ever still stuck in thinking, or like I have thinking going on, what I've been able to do is let those people off the hook, because it's not about them, it's about me. And that has just brought so much peace to myself first and foremost, but also to the home. And it's been a blessing, a huge blessing.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Yeah, and just for everybody's, Daniela lives near the airport, so if we hear planes zooming over the top, it's no fault of hers.
Yeah, so
she doesn't notice it anymore.
No, but except for when some of them come in really low and really loud, then it actually just helps me to be back in the moment and go, okay, it's going to pass.
Yeah, actually, it's a good analogy, isn't it? That those moments when we have overthinking can be like a noisy plane. They pass, they're gone. They've passed.
Exactly.
I think the thing that's really important about what you were talking about and the word killjoy is that when we get caught up in our worries, in our own thinking about things, in the need to control things, whatever it is that the thinking is going on from any of the different letters of the alphabet that we've done already up till now, we kill the joy in the house. Absolutely. And particularly as the mums, we're like the heart of the house, and whatever mood we bring to the house flows through the entire house. And so if we're being a killjoy, there's no joy in the house.
No, and that's right. It's so true. And it's so much easier now to turn things around, when, whether I'm off track or someone else is off track, it's quite easier, done through a lot of fun as well, rather than, anything else, or just even letting go. This morning, I just give you an example. This morning, I actually don't know what was going on, but I saw my son leave the room, quite happy and jovial and whatever, come back. He was still that happy, and then all of a sudden, something just jolted in him, and he went had this really serious stern look on. And instead of saying anything, I just went, let me just uncrank that. So I got down near his leg and, uncranked the cranky pants. And I just said, Mum, you're so silly sometimes. But it just, snapped me out of it. And I didn't have to do anything. I didn't put any thought into it. It just come naturally. Yeah. And we were back to connectedness. I could have gone onto a story and all the rest of it, but it was just enough to, jump back into the moment.
So I think we should have gone killjoy to kooky, not kind-hearted. Yeah. There he is in the background. Hi. Hi, Noah.
Yes. We've had a lot of interruptions, even with our with Pamela and I this morning. It It was like playing tag between the both of us. So anyway,
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, so the key thing is, I think, us noticing that that's what's going on. Because I think when we're in that state, it looks like it's justified that we should feel that way. It looks justified, like maybe something's not going right, and so it's justified that we should feel cranky, or it's justified that we should feel irritable, and because we feel it's justified, we feel that perhaps everybody else should be running around and doing what they need to do to make us feel better. And then they don't do that. They actually run from us a mile because we're being such a killjoy, and then we're more down by the fact that, well, nobody cares. See, there we go. That confirms it. And we can get ourselves spiraling in this way and not realize that as we're spiraling down, we're pulling everybody with us.
Yeah.
And it all came from our own perceptions and our own thoughts in the moment. It really wasn't anything we think it was. It looks like it. It really looks like it at the time.
And even if someone else has got their, like, running their own story with, you know, their own thinking, you know, before I used to get pulled into those stories as well. And now it's a lot easier for me to just go, yeah, I'm not owning that. That's not part of me, you know. I can either help that person if I feel in my wisdom to be able to do that. And it may not be even in that moment, but later on. I think we're going to get moved because there's people outside now playing cricket. But yeah, what I've noticed though is that I don't get put into those stories, and so what happens also is that they're able to snap out of it as well quickly, and it's been beautiful. And I'm talking with adults then, not with little people. Little people is a lot easier, I feel. But,
yes, it can be easier with the little people.
Yes.
People. Yeah, but that's an interesting point that you made is if we're able to avoid being the killjoy and somebody else comes in as the killjoy, if we stay in the kind-hearted sense, then no, we don't need the whole family to go down the rabbit hole with the one that's come in with all the tension. That's and right. Just like when you saw the tension building in your son, instead of letting it build or asking him what's wrong, which is what our tendency do, you did something fun and silly with him, and that broke the tension, and that's all that was needed in the moment, just to break the tension.
Exactly.
But if you're in the mood where, you know, you feel like, well, he ought to be happy, why isn't he happy? I do everything for him, or you get your own thinking around it, it's impossible to see the joyful way of turning things around.
That's so true. It's so true. And it happened, you know, like I'm human, like we're all human. So it does, you know, at times may not even be anything to do with him, but it's got, you know, my own thinking is happening for whatever reason. And I may not be able to kick that joy in. I mean that in a good way. Yeah, so it does. It depends on me. I was going to say something then, but it's just gone from me. I'll come if it's supposed to be.
It'll pop back.
Yeah, inshallah.
Yeah. So now that we've unpacked that word killjoy, it makes it sounds pretty rough, but what we're saying is that not somebody is a killjoy, but in the moment they're killing the joy.
Yeah.
In the home, or, you know, in any other environment too, you know, whether it's a work environment, whether it's a social group, you know, when we come in with our mood. And I think the issues firstly is we come in with our mood. A second, coming in with an expectation that somebody else has to fix it for us, like that's their responsibility to cheer us up. And then find them running from us rather than cheering us up, and then getting ourselves caught even deeper into it. It's very problematic because we're actually creating our own suffering going down that path.
Yeah, that's so true.
And the flip of the switch to kind-hearted is simply like a flip of the switch, isn't it?
Well, that's right, it is. you know, like I said at the start, when I didn't have to do anything to change that. It was just simply my thinking that, you know, fell away. And it really was effortlessly. And I actually didn't even see it at the start. Sorry to cut you off. I didn't actually see it at the start. But what I noticed was it was a little bit of time. Oh, yeah, we're not even having any of these other issues that we were having. And that was like, oh, wow, how come I didn't see it? I mean, I noticed it, but I didn't notice it, if that makes any sense.
Because we get so focused on when things are going wrong that we don't notice when things are going right. And that can be part of the thinking as well that's creating the problem, isn't it? When we're so focused on what's not right, it changes the whole perspective of the way we're seeing things. They say, you know, the difference between the half cup full or cup half empty thinking, I guess.
Yeah. And that's so true because, you know, before, I guess I would always be trying to fix everything, you know. It had to fit into the box, so to speak. And fitting into the box.
The problem is nothing ever fits in the box. That's why you get so much more thinking, because it's like, why won't it fit?
Exactly. And
that's metaphorically for everybody who's listening, by the way. We're not in boxes unless they want to go and play in one, and that's fine.
Yeah, that's a different story. But yeah, I had so much thinking around, like I had to be a certain way. And if it wasn't a certain way, then, you know, I had to fix it. But now I realize that there's absolutely nothing to fix in nobody, you know, not ourselves, not our children, not our spouses, not anybody, because we are just perfectly imperfect. You know, we have our imperfections. When we embrace that, you know, that of ourselves and of others, you know, the world's a kind place. And it's we can be more compassionate to those that are around us, you know.
The other thing that's really fascinating about all of this is often people, especially if there's difficult behavior involved, people feel that, well, I have to be having boundaries and I have to be making sure that I'm saying something or fixing, like protecting myself or standing up for myself. And that rigidity it doesn't fix anything. It just becomes what we call battle of the egos, right?
That's right.
Our ego battling with the ego, whether it's a child or adult that we're battling with. Whereas this being in that kind-hearted, compassionate, loving space, we can enjoin the good and forbid the evil in such a wise way that it can touch their heart and potentially actually make a difference.
That's so true. And I've experienced that, you know, on many what seems recently many a times, you know. And being in that compassionate space really allows for, you know, whatever is going on just to settle. And then if I find that I need to say something, not in that moment, if I'm not in my wisdom, like if I'm got thinking around it, I'll leave it. And if I find that later on down the track I need to say something, then I will. But if it's like, nah, it should be right, you know, like it'll be okay. Generally, it just sort of dissolves itself. And alhamdulillah, like that has been a huge blessing for me. And those around us, you know, not going into those battle of the egos. Sorry. Egos.
Battling eagles if you want.
Try it.
Yeah. So something came to me before the Battle of the Eagles. Now it's gone because the Battle of the Eagles distracted me.
Sorry.
And that's how quickly our thinking changes, right? I mean, we can use that as a teaching point, right?
Yeah.
That is how quickly we can go from one state of thinking to another, just like that. And so that going from that killjoy to the kind-hearted can be just like that. Exactly. I know what it was that came to me. It's safe to have a fun, joyful home. It's safe to allow everybody to be silly and laugh.
Yeah.
I think that there's a misconception that if we allow too much jocularity, then respect will go out the window, and routine will go out the window, and discipline will go out the window. But it's not true. In fact, what happens when we have that thinking is most of those things go out the window because the people in the family are feeling it. They're feeling the squeeze of it, and so they're not in their good mind, and they're not able to think well, and they're not able to behave in their best way, and so it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy in a sense. Whereas if we allow the joy, we're really kind-hearted in our approach, we can have the respect and the discipline and all of that sort of thing, and the fun as well. And don't we enjoy it so much more too, Daniela? Isn't it much more fun these days, parenting and being part of a family, than it was the way we saw it before?
Oh, for me it is. Like, it's fun. You know, it really is just that, fun. You know, and it's easy. That's what I love about it. It's easy. It's not hard. You know, there might still be hard moments. You know, things around don't change. Like, there's still hard things maybe going on around, like difficult moments is what I'm saying. But the sense that you have inside is a lot more calmer. And so you're able to still find the fun or the calmness in those moments. And, you know, it just makes it easier. Yeah, easier in so many other ways.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. So I think the rule of thumb is, if you're not having your children telling you, oh, you're so silly, mum, sometimes, then we need to look at whether we're being fun enough, right?
Yeah.
I get that from my kids too, the eye rolling and the, oh, me, really? Are you really doing that?
Yeah. I just got told today in the car, Mum, you're so embarrassing.
My daughter, sometimes when we're driving to school and people from the school pull up next to our car, she ducks down not to be associated with me. And I'm doing a good job.
That's right. Oh, that's funny.
She's like, you're embarrassing. But do you know what is the funniest thing about that though? The kids at her school, because I've actually worked at her school, and so I've got to know quite a lot of the kids, they actually really love the fact that I'm fun, and they're always saying to her, oh, your mum's so much fun.
Yeah.
Right? Yet she's embarrassed about me, so I don't know why.
As well, subhanallah. But it's true. I feel that, you know, because we have, you know, it really is, it feels like a clean, I don't know, like just a difference inside. And so the kids just naturally gravitate, or anybody really, just gravitate to you because they can feel that
ease.
Yeah. And it's amazing. Like, not now because we've started our journey on homeschool, but every morning or afternoon, hi, how you going? Like, they'd call me, hi, Daniela, how you going? And they're good. And these are all like little kids. But they love me. I remember one time really embarrassing my son. I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that. With their war cries at school, you know. And I jumped in. But anyway. I even felt a little bit embarrassed in myself.
Well, that's okay. It was just thinking you had around it.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. It did last.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Jazakallah khair, Daniela. It's been fun. I hope they've enjoyed us having fun with them.
Yes, my pleasure. Thank you.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam, Sister Catherine.